Finally saw this movie. Yes, yes, yes. Quick note before I get this review started, I finally got my hair cut. You're welcome, I definitely look a lot better than I did in my last video. Annihilation is directed by Garland and stars Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaac. It's about this abstract area called the shimmer that's expanding and began growth after an unknown particle from space hit Earth. Groups of people have been sent inside but nothing returns, so Natalie Portman goes on a mission to unravel the mysteries inside the shimmer. For the last week, I knew before I even saw this movie that this was a very divisive film. I heard many critics saying this was the best movie they've seen in such a long time. I also heard people say this is a really boring movie. As for myself, now that I finally saw Annihilation, I will say my opinion is a little bit in between, but it's closer to the critics' opinion than the people that absolutely hated this film. The biggest thing I can take away from Annihilation is the fact that this film gets you talking for hours after viewing it. It's one of those movies where after you come out of the movie theater, you have to put together all the puzzle pieces. You'll probably go online when you get home and do a lot of research, try to figure out where everything fits. That's exactly what I did because this movie doesn't answer all of your questions. Garland directed Ex Machina before he did this film. That was his directorial debut. And with Ex Machina, it's a little bit different from Annihilation. That movie tackles the ideas behind AI manipulation and what could happen 20 years from now if AI continues to grow. This movie, on the other hand, focuses on the ideas behind self-destruction. In fact, there are many metaphors pulled between the characters we have in the movie as well as this shimmer. So I thought that was really cool. It's an ambiguous movie. It's gonna make you think for hours upon hours, maybe days or months or years. It's one of those sci-fi movies that I really enjoy because I love it when I have to spend time figuring out what exactly was underneath the surface and all the little extra tidbits they added in there. Now, I did hear some people say the trailer and the movie itself are different, but I didn't get that vibe watching this movie. I found the trailer and the movie itself to be very similar, which is fine by me because one of the best things about Annihilation is the premise as well as the mystery and how we are supposed to unravel everything having to do with the shimmer. I'm a huge mystery fan. I love it when there's a big reveal at the end of the movie. You see one thing, you get one idea. You see another thing, in the next scene, you get another idea. That's the kind of thing I love when I see movies. Hence why I'm such a big fan of the movie Prisoners. Not gonna lie, Annihilation is also one of the most unsettling, disturbing, horrifying thrillers I've seen in quite a while. There were some scenes where I could just not bear to look. Oh, if you saw the movie, you would get that pun. I heard some people say this was a really boring movie, but that makes no sense to me. I don't get it. From the moment we step inside the shimmer, this movie had nonstop tension. I was on the edge of my seat, had no idea what was gonna happen next. The score in this movie I also found to be very good. It's one of those sci-fi scores. If you saw the trailer, you hear the sounds they use in this movie. Oh yeah, I forgot the performances. Natalie Portman, she was fantastic as the lead. Also, Oscar Isaac, while he was good in the scenes that he was in, he didn't really show up in the movie too much. He was basically unconscious for a good part of this movie. Didn't really have too much to say, which was not really a flaw with the movie, but Natalie Portman, I must say, was really good. Now let's get into a few things I did not like too much with Annihilation. They weren't the biggest problem. They didn't really downgrade the movie too much for myself, but they weren't as good as I feel like they could have been. So let me just throw this out there. The ending, some people love this ending, some people didn't really care. I was sort of in the middle. It just happened. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Some people thought it was mind-blowing. I just thought it was fine. Didn't really affect me too much. The first 90 minutes of Annihilation I thought were great. The ending, though, was a little bit underwhelming for myself. It came off pretentious. They were going for big goals, and not all of them worked for me. Going back to the score now, I loved the trailer score that they used. You hear this towards the end of the film, but throughout the majority of this movie, there is a guitar riff as the theme for Annihilation, which felt like it did not fit with the movie. I'm not really sure why they couldn't have just used the original score you heard in the trailer. The guitar riff felt unnecessary. This one is sort of just a nitpick, but I think it would have made the movie a little bit better. Annihilation is not told from beginning to end. It kind of cuts around from after the events of the shimmer to before the events of when she went to the facility. The movie just kind of moves around a lot, and I feel like had they made this one story from beginning to end and not going back and forth between the beginning and the middle once in a while, this would have made the movie a little bit more impactful because you wouldn't know what happened to everybody inside the shimmer. But unfortunately, since they show what happened after at the beginning of the movie, that kind of ruined it a little bit. But that's just a minor nitpick. I enjoyed the heck out of Annihilation from beginning to end. 90% of the movie I found to be great. Not so many flaws there. But the ending was just a bit underwhelming. I think they could have done something a little bit more impactful to hit me to the heart, give me goosebumps. It didn't hit me there directly, but I know for some people it did. It's a movie that definitely makes you think a lot. There's some really cool metaphors in there. It's a lot to take in, but once you figure out what this story was trying to say, you're gonna go back and think, that was a pretty good movie. So I'm gonna give Annihilation an 83%. I would recommend seeing this in the theater. As just a plain old thriller, you could enjoy this movie a lot. There is so much tension throughout every scene inside the shimmer. I really enjoyed this movie. I know it's not gonna hit very well for everybody, but it's one of those movies that does make you think, and I have to appreciate that. Alright, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on Annihilation, guys, if you happen to see it. Let me know down below in the comment section what your opinions are of Annihilation. If you're new to my channel, click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.